Batman The Dark Knight 23.3, aka Clayface, written by John Layman, art by Cliff Richards. So, I know that in Dark Knight right now we're doing a Clayface story, like in issue 23 or so. This doesn't really fit into that, which I think is a missed opportunity, but hey, whatever, it's still something. We're introduced to Clayface, who's walking down in the sewer with a bunch of other goons and one other guy who apparently is the guy who planned this job. And he's like, yeah, before I was Clayface, I was Basil Carlo, a millionaire, a movie star. I had it all. I had big plans, but I had a temper. And I ended up punching a director, and that kind of set me back in my career. So at that point, as they're walking down the sewer, Clayface says, hey, we're going to take a left here. And the guy who actually planned the thing says, no, we're going to take a left way up there. Right here is nothing. He's like, it's a jewelry store. I wanted to hit it real quick. And the guy just starts freaking out on Clayface. He's like, dude, I have had this job planned for 6 months now. I have it down to the second. I am not screwing it up because you want to go off book and do some random ass little other petty crime. And we get a flashback to the director who basically tells him the same thing, saying, you're an idiot. Don't try to improv. You're just pretty face. And Clayface is like, okay, yeah, that's an opinion. And then immediately just starts killing everybody. He impales them with things. He crushes them with hammers. Everyone's dead. And he's like, I still have my temper. Maybe I should have waited until the robbery was done, gotten some money, but oh well. And by the way, if these guys are, attached to any of the major crime families, I might have a problem. So I need to make sure they aren't ever found. Got to lay low for a while. So he transforms into one of them, climbs out of a manhole cover, and as he gets up to the top, everything's chaos. Forever evil's going on. And he even asks, like, hey, everybody, what's going on? And he's like, oh, the Justice League is dead. It's forever evil now. And he's like, oh, neat. Guess I can do whatever I want then. So he just turns back into Clayface. He makes his way to a bar nearby that apparently just all of the Batman D-tier villains go to. And he's like, oh, hey, barkeep, what's going on with the TV? Why does it just say this world is ours? And he's like, that's on every channel. I don't know what to tell you, buddy. So at that point, Clayface overhears Zebra Man talking to the White Rabbit, saying like, oh, yeah, they're called the Secret Society, and they're the ones who killed the Justice League. They're going to be taking over everything. And it's just like, oh, how do you get recruited into the Secret Society? Asks Clayface. And White Rabbit's like, honey, if you want to get recruited, they'll recruit you. They only care about the best of the best. So, yeah, I don't think you're really going to be asked. So then Clayface is like, I could be the best of the best. And then all of a sudden a resistance message comes on the TV saying, everyone, justice is not dead. We have this base out in the desert. We will be attacking them. Come and join the resistance. And then I swear to God, I know this guy. He looks kind of like King Shark, but he's not. He throws a beer bottle at the TV, and Clayface is like, hey, man, I was watching that. And he's like, that resistance, like, it's stupid. There is no resistance. No one's able to stand up to the crime syndicate, the secret society. They're the Justice League, but evil. Like, everything is just going to go to evil. Yeah, these things are going to pop up like tiny little blips, but they're going to get crushed instantly. But, I guess if somebody wanted to go out and beat them for the crime syndicate, it'd be a good way to get noticed. And Clayface is like, that's a good idea. So he punches the guy out for breaking the TV and then makes his way out into the desert. He shapeshifts into a homeless-looking guy and comes up to their base of operations, I guess. And basically says, hey, guys, you mind if I jump into around this fire? And they say, actually, we do mind. You better walk away now unless you want to get beat up. And then Clayface starts beating the crap out of all of them. And he's like, oh, I know this is a military base. I know you're training the resistance. Tell me where they are. And he's about to squeeze one to death. And he's like, oh, it's down in the bunker. It's down the street to the left. So he transforms into a soldier, sneaks his way inside. The soldiers inside are like, all right, everybody, we just got our orders. Prepare to move out. And Clayface immediately hears this. And he's like, actually, no. And he starts beating the crap out of all the soldiers. And the general steps up and he's like, you idiot, you're making such a huge mistake here. And he's like, don't call me an idiot, mister. And he starts beating the ever-living crap out of the rest of them. So once all the soldiers are dead, he goes up to the computer, calls up the Secret Society and says, hey, this is Clayface. I just took care of the resistance. I bet you want me to be part of your Secret Society now. And Secret Society is like, hey, Clayface, did we ask you to do that? And he's like, nah, I was just taking a little bit of initiative. And they're like, right. You goddamned idiot. We set up that resistance. It's a fake resistance. It was meant to draw out all the would-be heroes so that we could kill them all at once. What in the hell is wrong with you? Why would you do that? You stupid idiot. And they keep on laying into Clayface for like quite some time. But he doesn't get to hear the whole message because as they keeps calling him stupid, he starts breaking all of the stuff inside of this underground bunker. And maybe he accidentally activated it. Maybe the Secret Society did. But regardless, the self-destruct turns on, and he's caught in the explosion. So, being Clayface, he doesn't die. But it takes him a few days to get recombobulated. He eventually makes his way back to the bar, and he's just sitting there, having a drink, feeling sorry for himself. As two guys step up, they're talking about a job of robbing a jewelry store. And it's just like, oh, hey, Clayface, we could use some muscle. You in? And he's like, yeah. You know, that sounds like a good plan. And the narration says, right about then I came up with a plan of my own, an ambitious one that would put me back on top again. So maybe that then feeds into the Dark Knight story that's currently going on. I don't know. It's a little bit hard to place, but regardless, it's fine. It's a fine story. I'm okay with it. It's not great. I think my biggest issue is the art in a whole is fine. I don't mind it, but the style that Clayface is in makes him look more like a rock monster rather than like oozing clay, which is how I just see him mentally as that. This seems like a totally different character to me, just the way he's drawn, but that's just my own personal take on it. In regards to the story itself, it's basically just saying like, yeah, you know, Clayface is kind of stupid. That's kind of the whole gist of it. It doesn't even go into his backstory that much. It doesn't even say how he gets his powers. It's just Clayface is kind of stupid. So in that regard, it's fine. I can't give it above like... I can't give it a 7. So I guess I'll give it a... Honestly, I got to give it a 6. It's nothing that the story itself did, but it just feels so middling and average. It feels completely skippable on the whole. Maybe if Clayface has like a really big part to play in one of the Forever Evil tie-ins, I could see it as being necessary, but this feels like they just needed to fill out the month, and this is another of those like major Batman villains that just needed their own book. So yeah, I'll give it a 6. It's skippable at best.